Hello, everyone. Welcome to the eBoard app webinar, which is the financial dashboard for visual manufacturing. Before I begin, I'd like to know if you can hear me okay. If you don't mind, please type on the GoToWebinar panel if you can hear me okay. Perfect. Thank you, everyone. So today I'm going to take you through to an introduction of the financial dashboard for visual manufacturing that is saving CFOs and the rest of the management team lots of time and resources, helping them access financial information online so that they can be informed on a timely basis, control business performance, and make better decisions. My name is Valeria Vico. I'm with Business Monitoring Systems in partnership with Visual Business Solutions. We are going to go through the presentation. If you have any questions, please type them on the GoToWebinar panel. I'll be happy to answer all of them. And preferably at the end of the session, but don't hesitate to type it when the question comes up, and so you don't forget. So as I mentioned, the financial dashboard app for visual manufacturing has been developed for accounting professionals and C-level executives looking for powerful and easy-to-use GL reporting software. This financial dashboard allows you to access live financial data, share financial statements online with other users, create reports, drill down to transaction details, export the financial statements to Excel, and consolidate financial statements if you have more than one visual database. So the top 5 benefits, according to customer feedback, are real-time access to your company's financial statements. You don't have to log into visual manufacturing to get into the app. It has a very easy-to-use financial report builder. I'll show you that in a minute, which has consolidation capabilities. The financial report builder works just by copying and pasting GL codes, so it's very easy to use. There is a huge time saving on account research and balance analysis because you can drill down to the document details from the actual report, and because you can share now these reports with other departments, finance doesn't have to do all the analysis. You can really get the other departments to do that for you. And you can also export to Excel with just one mouse click. The app has been exclusively designed for visual manufacturing, so you don't have to do anything to adapt the capabilities. It's a plug-and-go app. It takes 15 minutes to install, and the training, we usually spend about maybe 2 hours with you. It's very intuitive, and you'll see that just right now. So let's see how it works. All right, so what you see on the screen here is the actual eBoard, the Finboard, and gross profit. So it has 2 main modules. Finboard is the actual financial statements viewer and report builder, where you do all your analysis, GL analysis, and you export reports to Excel. The gross profit module, I'm going to show you that. Hopefully we have time for that, but it's a module that allows you to slice and dice gross profit information, so revenue and cost of goods sold information. You can go down to the details. You can see which customer, part ID, sales order is profitable, or if you are losing money on any of them. So I'm going to try to show you that module as well. On the admin section is where you set up all the permissions. So this app has permission for each module, for each functionality within each module, and it goes down to the report level. So you can define who has access to which report. Okay, so keep that in mind as well. So starting with the Finboard module, we can see here on the header section that it has the financial report viewer, it has a report builder, it has a cash analysis and an AP audit, and it has the consolidation module as well. So starting with the report viewer, that is the module that allows you to see financial statement, to grab and upload or review financial statements. So the first step when loading a financial statement is to select the fiscal year. So you will be able to see all the fiscal years set up in your visual database. The currencies, so if you are working in more than one currency, you can also print financial statements in different currencies. If you have a multi-entity environment, you can also use the same viewer for each one of those entities. You can show budgets. So if you're using budgets in Visual, so you have to have the budget loaded in your Visual database using the budget maintenance module, if you're familiar with it. As soon as you have those figures in, you will be able to create and review financial statements comparing actuals versus those budgets. Then when we print financial statements, we have different ways to report information. We can choose to see the 12 months, so it will show you the financial statements based on showing all those 12 months of your fiscal year. That's what I'm showing on the screen. So what I'm showing on the screen is an income statement with my fiscal year here is 2018. And you can see all the months on that fiscal year, okay, as well as the year to date. Then if you want to narrow down that report, basically get a shorter view, you can use the 3 months, the last 3 months version, or you can select a cutoff date and it will show you just the numbers for that specific month and the year to date. The year to date always shows up. I can also show previous years and a vertical analysis. I'm going to show you examples of all those. Vertical analysis is basically when you select one of the accounts as the base, and then the app will calculate percentages based on the figures that base account has. So what I'm showing here on the screen is an income statement. I can drill down to transaction details. So for example, if I go to my gross sales domestic account here, every time you see a blue dot, that means it's a posting level account. If it is a posting level account, I can double click and go to the details. There are two drill downs. The first one, which is the one I just clicked on, is a summary drill down. It shows me for that account all the different postings that happened on that period. Now you see here that on the reference there is a hyperlink. That means I can continue drilling down to see the actual invoice. Okay, so it's just double clicking on it and you will see the actual invoice here. You can do that with all the different posting level accounts, and you can export to Excel. So any of these details, as well as the actual report, can be exported to Excel in just one click. So I just click there, and Excel opens up, and there you have your summary. I'm going to expand the screen so you can see it better. And so if I want to export the actual income statement to Excel, I just click here where it says export to Excel in the header section of the Finboard. And you'll see that the actual report shows up in Excel. I don't have to do any manipulation here. It's all in Excel. It tells you, it has a header as well. It tells you the time you exported it just for reference purposes. We've added that. And because I chose the 12 months version, all those periods are in Excel. Okay? And you can see that it kept all the format. I have lots of zeros here, but you get the point there. So I get to the total. So there is no manipulation. This is not a CSV file. It's an actual Excel file. Okay. So the other versions, for example, if I choose a 3-month version, all I need to do is select a cutoff date. I know I have data in April, for example, and I can just click refresh. And you see that there is a bar there on the right-hand side. It tells you the progress, so you get an idea of how long it takes to load. And it preserves the same capabilities. I can double-click, drill down, go to transaction details, and so the two types of drill down that I mentioned. Okay, so the year-to-date also has drill down capabilities. So if you don't want to see each month in particular, you just go to the year-to-date, and it gives you the details of all the transactions that have been entered during that fiscal period so far. Okay, here I have a journal entry, for example. It looks a bit different than an invoice. There you go. Okay, the GL codes also have permission, so basically you can restrict access to certain GL codes. Some companies are concerned with payroll information, so we can restrict access to those as well. Now, if I want to add budgets, all I need to do is click enable the budget feature here. So as soon as you do that, the app will show you the budgets you have entered in Visual for that particular fiscal period. So you need to refresh, and you can see that the number of columns are expanding now because now it's showing the budget figures there. So the budget basically will highlight variances. So it calculates the variances as well. So you can easily capture when you are deviating from that budget. And when you use the budget mode, these drill down capabilities are preserved as well. If you want to export, you can see that when exporting to Excel, we also take the budget. So the export to Excel feature really works very well, and it takes all the information you have on the screen to the actual Excel file. Okay, it has other features. You can hide lower levels quickly. So if you have lots of GL codes, you can just get the an idea of the total, or the totals, the main totals. Or you can expand by clicking on the plus sign there, so you will go back to the details. Okay, so I'm going to show you now how the report builder works. The report builder is basically very easy to use. You just need to start by choosing if it's an income statement or a balance sheet that you want to create. And for example, what I have on the screen here on the right-hand side is a report that I just created, okay, for you to see. So the main task when building reports is to think about the structure of that report. So we need to plan, right? So we need to plan first what are the main subtotals that I want to get on that report. On the left-hand side of the screen, you will see that we have the chart of accounts. So that's the entity's chart of accounts. And at the bottom, I have a list of all the account groups that I created. Account groups are sub-reports, basically. And they're very useful because by having account groups, if I happen to add a new GL code, I only have to edit the account group where that new GL code should be used. When I do that, as soon as I do that, then all the reports where the account group is used will be updated. Okay, so it really saves a lot of time. So let's see how easy it is to create a report. So all I need to do is decide what type of report I'm going to build. So let's choose an income statement. So when I choose the income statement, I have to give this report a title. So I'm going to say, just to make it simple, IS November, what is it today, 18th, 2015. Okay, so we can easily find that report. Then we have to start adding groups. As I mentioned, the key point when designing reports is to define the main subtotals. So the first total would be my total income loss. So that's my first main total that I want to get out of this report. Then I want to add a new group, and I want to see what my gross profit is. Okay. And then I'm going back to the main total income loss. I want to see what my total operating expenses are. Okay, so those are my main totals for now, just for you to get the idea. Now I have to define if I want to keep adding subtotals, so I can keep adding subtotals inside these guys. I can say, well, show me, first of all, I want to see the total revenue. And I want to see the total COGS. Once I have those reports defined, or those subtotals defined, I have to start adding GL codes. So if I don't remember the GL code, I usually find easier to use the find feature. So let's say I want to find revenue accounts. Here they are. So I have my total revenue that will work. What I need to do is select all the revenue accounts I want to include on the total revenue, and I just copy. Okay. For the cost side, I'll do the same. I'm gonna just highlight this cost of goods sold. I highlight the subtotal on the other side, and I'm copy. Okay. And then for total operating expenses, I think there is something in marketing that I can add. Here we go. I highlight the subtotal, I copy, and then I save. So once I save, the report has been saved. All I need to do is go to my financial report viewer, click on the report list. This is a list of all the reports created, and here it's my report, IS November. Okay. So I'm going to load it for you. There you go. I can just expand and see the totals. I can drill down. Okay, go all the way to the transaction details. I can see the budgets. I can export to Excel. Same features that we just reviewed. Okay, so it's very easy to generate a report. Now, if I want to go back to my report builder, what I was mentioning before is that I can calculate variance analysis. So all I need to do is to select one of the main accounts as the base account. So total revenue is usually the base account. So once I confirm that, I just need to click on the flag here that will make that total revenue my base account for the vertical analysis. I save the changes. Okay, I go back to my report. I can leave the budgets there, but because it will be adding too many columns, maybe I'll take it out for now. I click on Revenue Vertical Analysis, and I refresh. Sorry, I need to close the report. Okay, so here we go. So now we have the base, which is the 100%, and then it calculated my vertical analysis. And I can keep, as I mentioned, drilling down and all those features. Okay, so if you want to show the budgets again, you can do that, but you have to take into account that the more you will see all those in the viewer, and no problem. So it will do both. It will calculate budgets or show budgets, calculate variances, and calculate the vertical analysis as well. Okay, so I can export these to Excel. I show you one more time that all the capabilities are preserved. Now, there are two other modules that have been added as basically based on customer feedback. Cash analysis is a module that allows you to review the checks that have been issued through any of your bank accounts that you have set up in Visual. So by entering this posting date, starting and ending posting date, the app, as soon as you click refresh, will show you all the checks cleared and uncleared. So everything shows up if you want. So there is a flag here that says include uncleared checks. So you can only report on cleared checks. You can also report on both cleared and uncleared checks. And then it gives you information about when the check was cleared, the check date, posting date, amount, what vouchers we're paying with those checks. And anytime you see a funnel next to a field, it means you can filter. So if I'm interested on one particular vendor, for example, I can just apply the filter and see all the checks that we issued during the posting period for that particular vendor. If I'm looking for a specific check number, so this is used by payables when vendors call to see if a check was issued, then you just need to enter the check number here. So let's say, I think we can filter here, and let's say I'm looking for 1111. As soon as I click refresh, it will show me that check, when it was issued, the vouchers paid, and all the data. Okay, so this is really to audit or monitor the bank, or also to it's a quick way to find a check when the vendor calls. The other side of the checks is the AP audit. So the AP audit provides a similar idea, but from an accounts payable perspective. So no matter if we paid the voucher or not, we can get a report on the main grid here with all the payable information within a certain period, a posting period. So I have to enter again the starting date, the ending date, click refresh, and then the main grid will show, based on that posting date, the vendors, the vouchers that we entered in Visual, who the vendor is, the invoice date, if there is a PO linked to it, if the PO has an expense account linked to it. Okay, so this allows us to monitor the expenditure, so what POs are posting directly to the P&L. The other main feature here is that I can control the postings, the debit posting, to the PO accrual account. So sometimes the PO accrual account is not used properly. So for example, I can quickly check by using the filters if the PO accrual account was used on any items that don't have a PO. So in this case, the user behaved properly and we have a PO for all those postings to the PO accrual account. But many times I've seen, I've been helping visual users since the beginning of the 2000s, and so I've been doing consulting for visual for a long time. So the PO accrual account is a critical area, and I've seen many times the accrual account used in vouchers, in POs, without, so in the PO side on the expense bucket, which is incorrect. So many issues on the PO accrual account. So this is a quick way to monitor the accrual account as well. Okay, so that is for the AP audit. The consolidation module. So just to back up a bit, the app is multi-database. So every time you see on the right-hand side the name of the database, it's a drop-down basically. You can select. You can use the same interface, the same app to connect to multiple databases. It could be a test database as well. We have customers who are using, a test database to run what-if scenarios and all that. So you can connect your test database using the same app license. So, however, if you have to consolidate, we provide a consolidation module. The consolidation module is a way to map two different GL accounts, basically. So what you see on the screen is on the left-hand side, I have one visual manufacturing chart of accounts that is coming from one database, that is the BMFG4. On the right-hand side, I have the chart of accounts that applies to the other entity on the other database, which is the TACC. So all I need to do is find the accounts and match them. So for example, if I have finished goods burden here, and I want to map it to the burden on the other side, I highlight both, I click mapped, and then that is basically the mapping that I will use to create financial statements. Okay, so all I need to do is click save, and the mapping is saved. What we now have to do is on one of the financial statements, we just activate the consolidation feature, and the viewer will show you the same report, but for the two entities. Okay. On a couple of minutes, I will take these last 2 minutes to show you an overview of the gross profit. The gross profit, as I mentioned, is a module that allows you to slice and dice revenue and cost of goods sold data. So what you see on the screen is all the different fiscal periods that have been posted through Visual. This is the gross profit side. This is a summary, so it has three main views. It has a summary view, a pivot view, and a gross profit detail view. So if I want to, let's say, analyze the last period, March, in this case, I click on load here, and now the pivot view comes up. And you can see that it brings me a summary. It gives me a summary, sales, cost, and gross profit, and the total percentage. Now, on the left-hand side, I have different variables, different fields that I can add to the pivot view to analyze the information. So, for example, if I want to see that gross profit by customer, so all I need to do is drag and drop the customer ID there. Okay, so I can easily see who I sold to. I can go to the customer ID, customer order, sorry, level, and now I can expand all the sales orders for that particular customer. I can just, instead of having to rebuild this view all the time, I can just save the view, and I can say this is a view GP by customer by order. So next time, I don't have to create that view again. All I need to do is load the views. So I'll load the views. This is the one I just created. And I have many others, so I'll show you how it works. I just need to load it, and now it shows me the GP by part by customer. So there are lots of analyses you can do with this. You can slice and dice the data. You can also go to the gross profit details, and it tells you all the information about GP for that specific period. So and there are so many different fields that you can query on. Every time you see these funnel, as I mentioned, is a filter, so you can filter by product code. You can also do it in the pivot view. Get your GP by product code, by commodity code, by part ID, by GL account. Lots of fields can be added there. So that is a quick overview. There is a lot to show. There are lots of other features. These are the main ones, and so that on the screen is it's a screenshot of the GP module, and you can slice and dice the gross profit information. Okay, some customer testimonials for you. I'm going to send you a copy of the presentation. Most probably Lori from VBS will contact you to send you a copy of the presentation. That is our contact information. Lori from VBS is the director of sales, and her phone number is on the screen if you have any questions. I'm going to open the session for questions now. I know we're over the scheduled time, so feel free to email me or email Lori with questions, but feel free to ask questions now. Maybe we can spend a minute or so on reviewing questions. Does anybody have any questions? You can type them on the GoToWebinar panel there. No questions so far? Well, yeah, I know we're over the time here. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this brief overview of the Finboard, the financial dashboard app for visual manual. Again, this is Valeria Vico. Thank you very much for watching, and we will follow up with you. As I mentioned, Lori probably from VBS will do that. Have a great day, guys. Thank you very much for coming.